Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Action on the minutes.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Motion to second, any discussion? All those in favor? So vote. Adjustments to the agenda.
I have nothing, sir.
No adjustments. Public comment. Lois Pike.
The box.
Culvert.
What do you call it though?
Culvert.
Culvert, yeah, box culvert. Is there any reason why the quarry people, whoever they are they putting money in on this?
Not that I'm aware of, it's not their road, it's not their culvert.
Well, it's definitely a result of part of their operation if you look at it.
Isn't it on the other side of it?
That's been flooding like that since I moved here. That's been a problem.
Even back when I lived
Yeah.
over there.
Right. That's been a problem, yeah.
Well, I understand that, but it's really spread out now. I mean, it's, well, anyway, I know we made the guy up on the hill pay when he went out onto the road, because he broke down the road, and I thought they made an ordinance for it, but who am I? The other thing I have, I had a problem with you saying that we should cut out in that conversation about the schools and the county costs going up, we should put it on the bill of what we did with the casino money. You said that if we eliminated some of the services, maybe they'd go up and vote. Or maybe we, meaning the taxpayers, would go up and vote. And I really don't think that's the way the board should think in those terms, that if I don't go up and vote for something, at some meeting, then you're going to cut services, the board. And I just disagree with that philosophy. I think that it's the only thing the taxpayers actually get for their taxes in the town of, well, any town, but in the town of Oxford, is service. That's fire trucks come in, police come in, it's a service. That's a service industry, that's all it is. And the board's job is to figure out a way to pay them and keep them coming.
Sure.
That's all there is to it. So I wasn't happy to hear you thought by eliminating some of them, we may go do something.
I wish I remember what you're referring to, but I definitely value your input and appreciate you speaking on this.
Anybody else? Public comment. Seeing none. Business items 5.1. Review and approve Oxford Casino Operators License Renewal.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? All those in favor? Vote. Thank you. 5.2, review award East Oxford Road box culvert paving bid.
So I've asked Rob Prue, the engineer from Pine Tree Engineering, who's helping with this project, to come here today. In your package, you will see a copy of a bid tabulation of all the bids received, as well as the apparent low bidder is Cross Excavation, and his entire bid has been included. So with that.
Thank you, Adam. So as you can see, but for the benefit of everybody else, we received 9 bids last month for the section of East Oxford Road pavement reclamation and the box culvert to replace a failing culvert that was just discussed. So the bids range from a low of $519,000, $530,000, $550,000. There was 4 of them under $600,000. Then it ranged all the way to $1 million, as you can see. So our estimate was right around the 525 mark, so it's right up where we felt it should be. The second one was 530, so we think it's a good bid. We recommend award to Cross Excavation.
motion to award the bid process, excavation.
I'll second.
Second, more discussion.
Rob, that's the reclaim, so that's the asphalt from where? From the railroad tracks?
From Station Road, Whittemore intersection to Crossroad.
And is that, are the cross pipes separate from this? Or you?
No, there's culverts,
Everything?
everything in there, I think there's 3 cross pipes plus the box culvert. Yeah, there is 3. So that's grind the road, grade it, add gravel, repave everything in that section after the box culvert's installed.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? All those in favor of going across? Let's vote. 5-3, Route 26 town lot discussion. We had a workshop, took about an hour, 15 minutes earlier. Some of you were here, some of you weren't, to discuss that piece of property the town owns. Adam?
So for the Route 26 lot discussion, yeah. So really where we're at with this is that where things get left with this workshop is, do we want to get a survey, do a vernal pool study, wetland study, and a topographical plan? Just to help aid, well, see what we have, see if that would help aid future development, as was discussed in the workshop by some of the folks here. That type of information would make the lot potentially more valuable to a buyer. So if the board is looking to move forward with those ideas, I guess that what I would ask is, you want me to go out and get pricing to have that service, those services performed, and then discuss money afterwards, or what's the board's wishes?
I'd make a motion that we move forward and get pricing to, see what it's gonna cost us to get those permits, whether we get nothing, we do have the money coming in from the timber on it, but I still think we ought to get pricing before we just give it to somebody. Would you, if you used to do that, Rob, you check more than one person that does that?
I can if you'd like me to, otherwise I would go to the people that I would normally would use as a sub-consultant.
Mm-hmm.
If you'd like me to price it, try to get multiple prices, I can do that.
I mean, if you, on a low number was 5,000, so I mean, wouldn't we normally put that up to a bid?
To have those services done?
Yeah.
If it's over $3,000 as a fee, yep, we can put it out to bid, yes.
That would be my motion, let him put it up to bid.
Second.
Motion is second, discussion.
Would you be okay if it comes in under the amount we have coming designated from the timber, to just go ahead and schedule the work?
Well, we don't know really I'd like to know what we're spending before we spend it.
It really depends on how many bids you get and what.
Yeah, I mean,
If you got one bid that was under the amount, probably good with that. I'd like, I think we're gonna get more than one bid.
You do have some time, Phil, really, this can't be done until the snow's off the ground.
and I guess we'd use your judgment on what you would feel we should have a study on.
Yes.
So the only question I would have for probably Rob and maybe Adam, is this one bid for all of those items, or are they separate entities? This company does vernal pools and wetlands, and this company does this.
Yeah, there's not too many that I can think of that do everything.
Just however you need to put it out.
There may be a few companies that do it all, so I'll try to get, how would it be if I try to get 3 prices for each item?
So you put it out in that format, I'm assuming either all or partial of whatever item you're bidding on.
So, so I think what he's trying to say is, should we just move forward with him in contact, because it's not a huge pool of people that do these things, I assume.
Correct.
And maybe having him just get, because the board has the ability to waive the bid process in certain circumstances, and this might be one of those circumstances where we want to allow him just to seek estimates or seek quotes, seek 3, costs from these companies rather than go through a 30-day bid process. Is that?
That's what I had in mind.
Yeah, I would like to see if we can come up with what he can come up with. But I'd like to know that number before I vote it on.
So
I'm getting quotes.
quotes, not bids.
Depending on, I guess, depending on what the quotes are, whether we decide whether it goes to bid or not, but hopefully not. Hopefully it's not that big. So all those in favor? Let's vote.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rob.
5-4, recreation department rates. Adam, I know Kayla's here.
All right, so, Kayla, if you can back me up. So the first thing is the recreation hall rentals. We wanted to kind of look at that, take a look at that first. Kayla's getting, or the rec department's getting a lot of rentals. You know, thus far, we have 52 rentals scheduled, booked year to date. And of course, that's July to June. And as I was discussing with Kayla, that you're getting more and more of them as time goes on. It sounds like it's pretty consistent. So the purpose of the hall rentals is to, in my mind, is to help offset some of the cost of the rec building and so forth. So I listed in here just for you folks, based on the budget for next year, what I've put together thus far, the electric, heating, phone, internet, and water for that rec building is about $15,600. So thinking that if right now with the rates, it's $50 deposit, $50 for the first hour, $10 for each additional hour. There's a $25 extra charge for non-residents, and there's a $25 charge to use the kitchen. Our proposal thought is to remove the deposit, charge $150 for a 4-hour rental block for residents, charge $175 for a 4-hour rental block for non-residents, and then it's just a flat $25 for every additional hour after that. So that's kind of where we were coming from, and when she checked a little bit around, our rates are pretty darn low. How far you guys want me to keep talking?
It's probably far enough.
So she's happy with that and you're happy with that, right?
Yep, I'm just curious, there's very small difference between resident and non-resident. My personal opinion, I think a non-resident should pay a little bit more than that $25 difference, because the resident's already paying taxes, chances are in town, but again, I will defer to you both on where you think it should be.
It's not that I don't have an opinion on that. I think there should be, from what I've seen with the other things we do, a difference between the two. If you guys think that it would be worth trying to do $200 an hour for non-resident, or $200 for the 4-hour block for non-residents, we could try that. And if it adversely affects how many rentals we're getting, then we go back and adjust it. That's up to you.
I'd go with that if you guys are all right with it.
What's your,
I think that's more fair to the residents.
what's your percentage versus resident, non-resident, would you guess?
It's really hard because some people will say, oh, well, so-and-so lives there, so I put their address. We do have a large majority that are residents, but we have people coming as far as like Auburn, and but they know like, oh, you guys have the lowest rates, we come to you. I could pull up that information, but whether people are really being honest or not.
Right.
Did you make a motion, right?
I can make a motion to change the non-resident use to $200 for 4-hour block
And so will the rest of them that they proposed.
instead of the first one.
So the ones that agree with your new rates, except changing the non-resident to 200. That was the second.
I second it.
So in discussion, I just have questions. When somebody comes and books a rec hall, are they coming and seeing you in person, showing an identification? That would tell whether they're a resident or not.
A lot of people book online for convenience. I have very few people that actually come into the office to book. Yeah, I'd say 99% of them are
It's
online.
easy enough to find out whoever's booking, whether they're a resident or not. I don't know if you guys take that step to call the town office and say, so a resident or possibly. Not saying that they try to stiff you on $50, but
Well, that
Let's
is,
keep
so
them
when they
honest.
fill out when they fill out the registration to reserve it, it specifically asks if you're a resident or not, so if you click no, it automatically tacks on that fee. So then some people see that and they go back. So that's where when we catch it, obviously we question them, and then it's like, oh, well, my dad lives there. Have your dad book it, I guess.
But I mean, at the end of the day though, I mean, I don't want this to be more work for you. I don't want it to be more work for them. Even if they're not a resident, I think we're doing our due diligence by separating the price. And the fact of the matter is chances are they're doing it in Oxford because there's Oxford residents coming to attend as well. So I just don't think we should push it too much. Just let's separate the difference and let them use it. I'm sure there's gonna be residents of the town use it regardless.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? So,
So the next item is the summer recreation rates. So in your packets, I checked it looks like it's sideways, I'm sorry. I checked in there a proposal for a rec rate scale, and I worked on this based on last year real quick. Our total expenses last year was about 76,000. Our total revenue was 76,700. But I want to point out the fact that 11,000 of that was town meeting raised and appropriated, and also 4,100 of that was snack shack revenue. So the snack shack revenue is one of those things that, I mean, that's we can't make a guarantee. I think that there are going to be snack shack revenues, as Kayla and I discussed, but we have to kind of estimate that. So based on the trips and folks this year, we're looking at our estimated total expenses of $80,000. We're looking at a registrations at about 77,500, estimating about 2,500 for the snack shack, and that's a little low probably, but just being on the conservative side, which would give us a total of revenues of 80,000, which would allow us to basically break even. And what that's based on though is that's going to the new rates. And the new rates that we're proposing are $150 a week for $150 a week for residents, $225 a week for non-residents, and then it's $140 for multifamily. So if you have multiple children that you want to enroll in that. That is opposed to last year, residents were $75 a week, non-residents were $150, and additional family members was $60. So the hope is increasing the fees. The other thing that is going to do is it's going to simplify the trips, because this is an all-inclusive price. It includes your trips, your activities, your everything. Whereas last year you had to kind of buy into that a la carte. Is that the right way to say it? So flat fee per week. That's what we're looking to do.
Again, to touch on the a la carte, how far off are we? So if somebody bought into going on a trip or whatever, is that on top of what last year's fee was? Is that what you're saying? Last year there was a set fee, and then if you did extra activities, it cost more?
Yeah.
And this is just everything now.
Because
So previously it was like a first come, first served basis for field trips. We only had so many seats in one bus, so it was just, we only took so many kids. So now this would allow everyone to go. And if you didn't go on a field trip, you didn't have rec, because we took everyone, we took all the staff. So this would guarantee you your 5 days.
This problem is that you have this much staff, no matter.
Right.
Yeah, so you get it.
So, Kayla, with the fees last year and then the additional monies families would pay to go on these field trips and whatever, how far off are they from the $150 a week that they're already paying anyway? Approximately.
Well, just to help out on that.
No, all
Yeah,
right.
to help out on that, if you consider the fact that, you know, our payroll and trips and so forth, we're increasing about $4,000 in expenses this year.
Mhm.
And so I don't think that they were too hugely off last year when you included everything that what they had to
Yeah,
pay.
that's the question, right?
Sure.
So essentially, we're not going up that much. It looks like a dramatic increase because you're paying it all inclusive, but if you broke it all down, it's about what you were paying last year. with all the add-ons. Is that what your question was, Ernie? Sorry.
Yes and no. But it's also in this scenario, it's zero accountability on the taxpayers for this. Correct?
That was, so, were you on the board when were you out? Either way, I was here when this was you first brought this program.
We put on, yeah.
Put some money in to get it started. We've shrunk that amount each year, but the goal was to get it moving. So this program isn't costing the taxpayers any more money. It's costing the users of the program. That was the goal, that's what this,
And that's what's happening now.
that's what
with
this
this proposal.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Motion and a second, any other discussion? Hopefully the numbers don't go down, you may lose a few, you may gain a few. I think overall, they'll like the one price up front. You don't have to worry about coming up with another $20 or $50 or, then you'll adjust, I'm assuming you're gonna adjust based on how many people you get signed up, so. If you get 75% of the kids that you had, you're gonna have 75% of the staff that you had, so on and so forth down the road, so.
We did also eliminate the part-time rate, so this would just be a flat, like you said, a flat rate, so we're not worrying about people switching from full-time to part-time, full-time to part-time. There would be more consistency there.
I think enrollment will open tomorrow, Monday.
Ready to go once we have our rates.
And you're limited to the number of spots you're gonna have.
Okay.
You have X number of spots because you have X number of
Yeah, if you
employees.
need to.
You got it. All those in favor? Up at the top. Is that it for rec?
That was it for rec.
Thank you, ladies.
Unless Kayla wants to talk more.
5.5 sewer department rates.
It's too easy.
All right, so we've had a couple of discussions about sewer department rates. And one of the questions was, I advised you guys, we had 285 laterals total. Well, what does that mean when it comes to properties that are eligible to hook up to the sewer? So when I went back and I looked and reviewed that, there's actually 307 properties eligible to connect to the sewer or be charged a standby fee. Out of those 307 properties, 107 of them are already connected to the sewer. That leaves 200 properties remaining which are eligible to connect or be charged a standby fee. Based on the ordinance, the standby fee, if we were to enact that, the standby fee would be $76.25 per quarter or $305 a year. Charging the standby fee would generate approximately $61,000 in additional revenue. And just for a point, currently the deficit, this is operations only, this does not include debt service. Currently our deficit is 2121, so that's 221,000. Making this change would make our deficit 160,000 a year. So that's just, I'm assuming we were focusing on that standby fee mostly for this conversation.
You're gonna kill me.
I don't understand, what are we currently bringing in? So, I guess maybe help me with the math, maybe I'm wrong here. 307 eligible, it's $610 a year would be the, where did I come up with that number, Adam? The 610 is your base rate, right? Is that what you call it, not the standby fee, but your base rate?
The
150, 250?
Yeah, 150, 250 is the base rate if you don't have city sewer, city water.
So 150, 250 times 4 is 610 annually, times 307 gets us 187, 270. At this point right now, even if everybody was on paying the base rate, it wouldn't even fund itself.
Right, because there's some folks that are on the sewer are considered multiple users. You know, one of them sitting in this room. And so depending on what kind of business you are, if you look at the last page of the ordinance, it will give you examples of, you know, some users are.
I remember, yeah, okay.
So that's why it looks like that. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, so technically there's more than 307.
Right. There's 370 parcels.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, one parcel.
Maybe multiple users.
Right. And I'm not gonna make the assumption that one parcel is gonna be 10 users.
Right.
So.
Yep, okay. Thank you. So I mean, I feel like we need to make a decision on what we're gonna do with the standby fee. If we're gonna charge it, how we're gonna charge it. If we're not gonna charge it, it probably shouldn't be an ordinance. We should change the ordinance, because
I don't think you can, because I think it had to be in there. When we got the money, it had to be in there. That's why it was written.
But we also, to get it, it had to be in there and we are supposed to be charging it or not.
No, we didn't say that we had to charge it. It said that it had to be in there if they were gonna give us the money.
Yeah.
Sure.
So just when we get to discussing proposed ordinances later on the agenda, one of the things that I was gonna throw out there was about the sewer ordinance. And maybe something that we could consider is amending the sewer ordinance. Instead of saying shall charge a standby fee, you know, that is this amount, maybe it could be something to the effect of the selectmen, you know, can charge a maximum standby fee of half the rate, which would give you guys the option to charge either 0 or all the way up to, you know, this amount. And then if you folks choose that you either A, don't want to charge a standby fee, you don't have to, or B, if you do want to charge a standby fee, but you want to step into it with only like, you know, 25% and then 50% or however you want to do it, that might be a way to solve this problem, and town meeting would be able to give the input.
I mean, I realize that this is gonna be done, but when it was originally sold, it was sold that way. I think if you're gonna change it, it's gotta be brought up at town meeting and you gotta tell everybody.
yeah, I don't disagree with that. I just, for the sake of saying this, Floyd, not to be argumentative, but to be
Oh, I
argumentative.
like that.
It already is an ordinance that they already voted on. And it says shall,
They already
it says-
voted on, but.
it says shall charge a standby fee. That's all I'm saying. It says shall charge.
They voted on it, yes.
Right.
But it was also sold to them that it wouldn't be. And I'm saying that you gotta, if you're gonna change what you originally sold me, we ought to be in front and talk about it.
We will. But you were sold a standby fee. Now, we're not gonna charge it with an elbow hoodwink.
Well, we were also told that by the engineer.
And I'm all for it. It says shall charge a standby fee. That's what the ordinance says. We're changing the ordinance so we don't have to charge. That's what we're proposing.
No, I don't think so.
Exactly what you just said.
He may be, but
So
I
we had
don't know that.
So we had the option not to charge it. Right now, we're supposed to be charging. By the ordinance, says shall charge a standby fee. And so let's put it to town vote and let the town voters vote again if they want to be charged a standby fee. I'm for that. But right now, it says shall charge a standby fee, not to exceed whatever that rate is, half the rate.
Well, I wouldn't wanna go by and charge him back from the beginning. I think we'd have trouble.
Yeah, I mean, what do you mean, like back charging? No, yeah. You have it in an ordinance that the town voted on at town meeting. This is how we got here. It's because we're just blatantly just ignoring an ordinance we have as a town.
Well, when we were gonna get into it, we didn't know how many people we were gonna get into it. We were sold a bill of goods that didn't quite deliver. But as far as us just making that decision, if we do it in a town meeting, it looks like we're telling everybody right up front, if you make a decision now, I mean, I think if you told the people what we have for a problem, they understand it better than all of a sudden getting a bill.
Sure.
That'd be my opinion.
Sure. You know that, Adam?
I did, actually. I mean, I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
It goes to town meeting and they vote to not change the ordinance because they want it to stay the same, then we start charging a standby fee and they were forewarned. If they vote to amend it the way we just said.
Well, I mean, that would be the time to do amendment. We can't. I'm just saying the board can't do it at a regular, select management.
I think it's a good
But I
compromise.
wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, I think it's a good compromise, right?
Yeah.
There is an ordinance that we're not implementing, so.
I'm with you.
Yeah, so as a compromise, we bring it to the voters and let them decide.
Is that a motion?
Again. Do we need to make a motion?
Well, sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Is it later in the ordinance?
If we're gonna amend the ordinance, then yes. I'm gonna be talking about that in a little bit, and you guys can vote to have it move forward.
This was just another discussion.
So what we're saying is, we're gonna go to town meeting and ask the taxpayers to enforce a current ordinance is.
We're gonna tell them what happened.
Either a current ordinance or we amend the ordinance and put that in front of
Fair enough,
Right. I mean, we can decide, we as a board can decide, this is how we wanna change the ordinance, and we put it to them. And if they don't change it, you could always say, if you don't change the ordinance, and I'm not trying to hold anybody over a barrel here, but if you don't change the ordinance stays the way it is. And I was looking for the wording, but you're absolutely correct, it does say you shall charge a standby fee.
Right.
And if the ordinance doesn't get amended, we shall charge a standby fee.
Of a rate half of what the,
If it's specific to what's in there, and I think it is,
it is.
Laura's mine.
Alright.
If you can find it, she might be able to find it quicker, but, and put that out there. I'll speak for me, because I wasn't on this board, and when this was passed, I don't even think I was a resident of Oxford. I'm not going to vote to enforce an ordinance that the town passed, how many years ago? 15 now? Ish, that we've never enforced. No other board here has ever enforced that ordinance.
I'm all for going to town meeting and letting them know. I'm just,
I
it
think
just sounds funny,
I
we're gonna
think
go
that's
ask
the
the
only
townspeople
way
to
we can
enforce
do it.
a current ordinance. So why don't we just not do any other ordinance? It just sounds funny to me, but I agree, let's go to the
I don't
townspeople.
know what you mean by it sounds fun.
Why are we following all the other ordinances, but not that one? But it goes back 15 years ago, right? So, no worries, let's move on.
We will, I believe the board will enforce it come
I do too.
town meeting if it's not amended. It will be enforced the way it's written.
Right.
I will support that.
Perfect. Me too.
Great call.
You find it?
Me too.
Does that
I didn't get that
affect,
far.
payment for this? We haven't paid them all the
So-
money yet.
The exact
We didn't make it famous.
Well, I
wording
know, but I mean,
in the ordinance, the selectmen is hereby authorized to establish, alter from time to time, and upon persons owning land served by drains and sewers heretofore and hereafter constructed a service charge for the use and for the services furnished by such drains and sewers. I'm reading the right paragraph. Standby fee, after reading all that. A standby fee is an assessment that is charged to any dwelling adjacent to but not connected to existing public sanitary water system, yada, yada, yada. The standby fee shall be the source of a portion of revenue for retiring debt service and for capital expenditures, operations and maintenance of the public sewage works. Such fee shall be deemed ready to serve charge, levied to aid in defraying expenses incurred in making service available to the property. The standby fee will be half of minimum base rate sewer charge. So we are all aware, and we will put that out at town meeting, that we either enforce the ordinance as it's written come June, or we enforce whatever amended ordinance is put in place.
Sure.
Thank you. And we have a little bit of time to, at some point, discuss if we want to change the ordinance, what we want to change it to.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion.
else we can discuss with sewer rates, unless you want to discuss.
No, I'm good,
where
I'm
they wanna
good,
go.
I'm good, I'm good. You're doing
So-
good.
We're done with the sewer rates for now?
I think so, I think we're gonna have to come up with a decision, unless you wanna do it tonight.
Well, was this just standby fee, or were we talking about the actual sewer rates itself?
You'd have to go by what the ordinance said. I mean, you know, it's being by good.
So if you guys wanna discuss, the other part of this, yep, we can certainly discuss that. Currently, the base rate is 152.52, like, was said earlier, that's if you don't have town water. And if you do have town water, the base rate is $83 per quarter, this is all per quarter. And then the consumption, it's, 4 cents per gallon or $4 per 100 gallons. Say that right, Beth?
Yes.
I twist that up every time, so.
Those rates are established by the select board, they're not in the ordinance. The ordinance
Correct.
doesn't say how much the rate is.
Do we know, how much did we raise it last time that we raised it, and when was the last time we raised it?
I can tell you the last time it was raised, I'm sure it's been quite some time.
So we raised it in when,
Go ahead.
so, back when Butch Aslan was town manager, we raised it. It was just after, the Honey Badger came in and hooked up. And we changed the rates from heavy unit charge, low consumption charge, to a lower unit charge, higher consumption charge, so they could better regulate their own usage and price. So that would have been, what, maybe 2 years before he came.
So 7 years ago?
Yep.
So, I think we know what our current rate is. I think I would like to see other comparable municipalities and what their rates are. Few, don't need 50 of them. Lost my spot.
I agree with you. The challenge with that thing is I think that's gonna be a skewed number because probably other established wastewater treatment plants have a higher volume of users, which is gonna should drive their price down, because they have the volume. So, but I mean, here nor there, let's look at it. You know,
Yeah, I mean, you don't wanna raise the rate high enough to pay the difference on just the users.
I agree.
So it's gotta be a fair market value or a fair market cost of what public water and sewer is. That was my intention. And if we're half the price of Norway, we probably need to make an adjustment. Or if we're already higher than Norway, we may make an adjustment.
I agree, and I understand what you're saying. I also know that the current rate works, we make it work. I don't want to just raise rates just because Norway is or whoever. I don't want to nickel and dime residents on every little thing. I feel like if this is working now, if it sounds like the standby fee is gonna be enacted, we're talking an extra 60 grand going towards the debt already, that I'm not necessarily saying we should raise the rates. It doesn't hurt to see where we're at,
Yeah,
but if we're gonna do the standby fee and already pull some money out of the taxpayers, maybe we just hold steady. But it doesn't hurt to see where we're at.
I think it's important to get some numbers.
I'm fine with that, and then we look
We
at
can
it.
look at it all together, so if we raise the rates $5, just an example.
Yeah.
And it changes what we're gonna ask for a standby rate, and then do the math based on how that all shakes out.
I'm agree, I don't mind getting quotes, I'm not necessarily saying.
I mean, it works the way we've been doing.
Sure.
The whole town pays for the difference.
Mhm.
Yeah, we pay twice.
Well, that's it, I mean, and now you add a standby fee, it's an extra 60 grand, towns never had per year. that we're cutting into it. I think we need to take small steps into it,
I agree.
not short ways.
Okay, anything else on sewer?
When would you like to see that?
I'm not here next meeting. You're not here following meeting. Just one, we're gonna just
I'll
one.
be back.
So I don't know, the second meeting in March. I know we're right in the heart of budget season, but that's an easy. You adjust that portion of the budget after that meeting. Not to change your whole schedule.
Well, it won't be dependent on what the operating budget cost is, so, yeah. Yeah, so second meeting in March, we'll bring it back to the table.
5-6 North End Fire Station discussion.
All right, simply put, we had an engineer look at the building, identified some issues. We had a discussion here at this table about, fire station versus, cold storage. Cold storage was the direction that, we had leaned. I asked Jim Bennett from Public Works to take a look at it, and he gave two estimates to do the repairs that were noted. $13,710, and that's if he repaves the apron, up front. But if we just turn that to packed gravel, it's $3,700 is what he's thinking. That's his crew doing it, him buying all the materials. He included an estimate here, and he said that that's something that they can kind of piecemeal along, when they have time, like in between storms right now and as we get closer to summer. So if we're gonna do that, I would recommend that we look at the town building repair reserve that we have, town office, town buildings, and we take the money from there to do this $3,700 work.
I mean, we really don't need that pavement, do it?
No.
I don't think so. I mean, if he can do it that way and save us some money, let's do
Jim was pretty confident that if we're not gonna be driving big heavy trucks out of there constantly, that it could just be gravel.
it. Main thing was to change the flow of the water.
Right, regrade it.
I'll make that motion.
Same.
Make a motion to let Jim redesign the, North Station,
For 3710.
roughly, whatever the number.
Second.
Second, discussion.
You remind me what value we keep in there? There's that machine from the wastewater plant, right?
Yeah, so there's kind of an overflow of everything. I mean, there's stuff ends up in there from the police department, the fire department, storage stuff. Highway department, the street sweeper goes in there, the machine from the sewer department, the
Generator.
thank you. That ends up in there, and then just other general storage, so it's for $3,700 to have a storage building like that until we build something else, I think that's a good idea.
For the moment.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Vote. And discuss proposed ordinance changes.
All right. Hey, the first one I wanted to mention was the sewer ordinance. So, the sewer ordinance, I am proposing, well, let me back up actually. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through a list of things that we've identified. When I say we, that's the manager and the staff have identified for current ordinances that we feel should be updated at this coming town meeting. I'm putting this in front of you folks so that you have an opportunity to say whether or not you want these to move forward for development or not. A lot of effort has not gone into these at this point because we want to know what the board wants to do. The first one is the sewer ordinance. I'm proposing, based on the conversations that we've had, that when regarding the standby fee, that we simply change it to standby fee not to exceed half of the current base rate, rather than requiring it to be the entire base rate. So that'd be the first.
I think we've already decided we'll support changing it. I don't know if you want that exact language.
Yeah, that's perfect. It gives
That's what
you,
you want.
yeah, it gives you the ability to charge zero.
I agree. It does give you the ability.
Right.
A board from year to year can change it up and down, I guess, as they see fit.
The next one is the land use ordinance. I want to make sure that we're in compliance with, I believe it was even discussed in the workshop, some of the density requirement changes that have come from the state. Want to make sure that we're in compliance there, so those changes, as well as there's a couple of items in shoreline zoning that I want to clarify. I've talked to Shane about this. I want to clarify the CEO's requirement to make approvals or not approvals on some of the different uses. So that, I feel like those are pretty simple.
I would say yes. You're gonna be in compliance with state law anyway. So.
Yep. There's been some discussion of changing zoning map from industrial to mixed use in the area of Station Road and East Oxford Road. Is there any appetite for that?
Yeah, I think we need to do that.
I don't know how it's, when I first heard that it wasn't mixed use, I don't know how that ever happened, but I think it needs to be. I mean, you live there.
It was, I mean, I can produce the paperwork, I mean, obviously before my time, but well, I always thought it was mixed use, and then it was, we get discussing it, and it was all industrial now, which was kind of a surprise to me, so.
I mean, what's there for industry other than the propane
Sawmill.
sawmill?
Quarry.
Junkyard.
So,
Oh, how big of a piece are you talking about here?
so from the intersection of Station Road and East Oxford.
Yeah.
There's 4 or 5 houses affected by it all the way to the mill. His entire 16 acres, except for the little sliver his house sits on, is industrial, all the way to the mill. On the opposite side of the road, Whittemore, going up Whittemore, 9 Whittemore, and I believe the next house on the right is all industrial zoned. And the two theories are, one, years ago it was changed to anticipating New England Public Warehouse moving in along the rail
On
tracks.
the rail side down there. That was when that come about.
And then another theory I've heard was an expansion of the sawmill.
Which they can expand it in mixed use zone.
I have to check the ordinance, depends on what they're doing. But their areas that they operate in can stay industrial. It's, you know, you have houses, you have residential homes along East Oxford and Whittemore that are stuck in the middle of industrial zone. So if any one of them wanted to build a garage, like, technically they can't. Unless we found a loophole.
I think it needs to be changed, I just think we need to specify if a piece of it, like the mill needs to be, remain industrial because they may wanna do something on the land they own. If we can carve that out that way.
Yeah, that's a conversation we're gonna have with the mill to see if, on whatever they own, you know, yeah.
But if it's not being used as industrial right now, I definitely think it should be changed to mixed use.
Yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure, and I apologize, I should have brought that paperwork anyway, but, I know my wife's grandparents had that, they had it changed. Mom
Well,
had it
they were
changed.
gonna buy, I mean,
Yeah.
New England was gonna do something down there once upon a time, never happened.
But even then, my understanding was it was mixed use. Because as you know, there's another
I don't
residence
remember what it.
on that
So
property.
in my research, I found a zoning map from 1970. It showed that whole area as rural. In 94, I have a zoning map, and it shows that area all industrial. So somewhere in between that 24 year, if I'm doing my math right, period, it was changed. I don't have any zoning maps to back that theory up. AvCog is looking into it to see if they have a record of it.
But look at the verbiage changed, is what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, but they had to have the verbiage changed because they're gonna put a warehouse out there along the edge of the track. Never happened.
But yeah.
That's how it comes, that's
We
how
just
it
need to
comes
change it,
up.
because I just noticed Josh was saying, that, I believe your house is an industrial.
Right, so I can't build a garage.
Right.
There goes my.
I'm all for changing it, I think it needs to be changed. I don't want to offend.
Yeah, the sawmill.
I want to expand on their. Okay, we'll include that in the zone.
All right, the next one is the mass gathering ordinance. This is something that's come from the police chief. So this is a kind of a little bit loose. We would actually just like to obviously have time to look at this further, but right now it requires a mass gathering for 1,000 people or more. The police chief is proposing it be 500 people or more. He also would like to discuss increasing or reducing the police officer to participant ratio. Not right now, it's one police officer for 1,000, I think it is. But what he'd like to do is, if you've got a giant quilting show going on that's really low risk, and maybe not have to require so many police officers. But if it's a big event with alcohol and other higher risk factors involved, he wants the ability to maybe require there be more police on scene. Also, would like to have a discussion of, do we want to require mass gathering permits for, like for instance, there's a big event that happens every year where there's hundreds of campers that show up. Do we want to include that as part of the mass gathering ordinance, and should that be looked at further? So he's asking to be able to look at these items and potentially move forward with some of these changes. Obviously, you guys are going to see these things before they go anywhere near town meeting. But are you interested in hearing more what he has to say about that?
I think so. I'm not trying to put Mr. Gallagher on the spot. Max capacity at the casino?
So the neighborhood of 3,000.
On the casino floor?
The restaurants, the way they are now.
I think it'd be exempt in their business.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're not creating something that's not already accounted for with that. I mean, we're talking about a speedway or any place else that has a large gathering that's not normal.
Right.
Concert, the fair, concerts, stuff like that.
All right, I only got 3 more to go. I know there's only one more on your list, but I had 2 other ones I had to add up. The next one is the section-oriented business license ordinance. And we want to look at clarifying the licensing and public hearing process for both new and renewals. It's a little bit unclear. Updates to streamline the licensing process, make it a little more in line with like some of our other licensing, as far as inspections go and who does the inspections. Also, wanted to do some updates to make sure that it's in compliance with state law. There's been a few things that have changed since. So I'm assuming that we're good there.
Yeah.
There's a special amusement ordinance that we also have. And the special amusement is if an establishment, establishment that has a state liquor license, for instance, wants to have a special event, that's when they would need to request they would need to request a permit through the special amusement ordinance. We're again looking to make sure that we're in compliance with state laws, and we also want to make sure that we're in compliance or at least up to date with our inspections. Right now, it's I think it's only the police chief that has to do an inspection, so we're looking to bring that up to snuff as well. So I'm assuming that you're good with that. And then the last one is the marijuana licensing ordinance. The state has changed the terminology from marijuana to cannabis, and we want to make sure that we are both in compliance with state law, but also in compliance with their definitions and verbiage, and we would need to go to town meeting to change from marijuana to cannabis and to update some of our definitions. So that's the last one. Perfect.
Sir, 1995 parking ordinance is outdated.
So the parking ordinance is something that they can handle at their level.
Okay.
So that doesn't need to go to town meeting. Thank you. So those are the ones that we're looking at right now, and I don't hear any, don't move forward stuff, so, all right. Thank you.
5A, budget committee bylaws.
All right, budget committee bylaws. The only reason this is in front of you guys is at the last selectmen's meeting, the size of the budget committee was increased to 9 individuals. And the budget committee bylaws say 7, maximum of 7 and 4 for a quorum. I'm asking if we can change the bylaws to read 5 citizens and a minimum of 5 persons for a quorum, total of 9. Just so we're in compliance with what we just did.
Make a motion to change the budget committee bylaws to 9 and 5 for a quorum.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Thank you.
Town manager, nope. Beth, department head, finance department audit review. The auditor couldn't be here tonight.
We actually have our audits in February.
Which is a
Not
huge deal.
August. A huge deal.
Really has been years.
We worked hard to get it done, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, I definitely want to say that with the changes in the finance department that we've gone through, we had a person in between and now with Elizabeth in there. I think we've come a long ways over this last year, 18 months. And things are a lot more organized. I mean, we have the audit, how many months before we did the last
The
time?
last time we went through it, it was August.
Yep.
And
So-
then February, and we get next year, so.
So I mean, it's huge, huge improvements in my opinion. Also, I think the accuracy of this audit is significantly more. So
Always
we're-
key to have an accurate one.
Yeah, well, good information in, good information out. So what we were gonna do, I was gonna go over the management letter and then Elizabeth was gonna kind of hit on some of the high points of the audit. So the management letter is something that the auditor provides the town with, based on what they're observing and so forth. So there's kind of an introduction, but the meat and potatoes are on the second page. And the first item is invoice approval. They identified that we noted that some invoices did not contain approvals, meaning that they didn't get signed off by the department heads or the manager and throughout the AP process. And so one of the things that we have instituted since this, and it's been corrected before now, is that when we were in that interim time with another finance person, we went through a couple of ripples where sometimes that didn't happen. So now with our current finance, every invoice is either signed off by the town manager or signed off by the department. So we corrected this long before this was brought up issue. But you gotta remember that this audit is from full year. Yeah. The other is the sewer deficit. So as I've kind of talked to some of you individually, I've noted about the sewer department. We have some projects that we need to address. The sewer department and the cost of the sewer department and its debt service and the deficit there is, well, that's the next big item to tackle. And he even noticed notes that in there, that's something that the auditor, we've been discussing with the auditor, is we need to get our ducks in a row with the sewer. So that's not something that we weren't aware of. It's something we've been discussing. And I will say that that's a very short management letter, and I'm quite proud of what we've done to get this is good news to have such a short management letter. So, other than that, those are the two biggest items that he pointed out. So I'll let Elizabeth kind of give you the highlight of the audit.
So I know a couple of you guys have seen these audit books before. A couple of you guys are new. There's a lot of information in here, a lot of different financial statements. However, when you're looking at this from the cover, reading through it, it starts, every financial statement in the front is a really broad overview of what the entire thing is, okay? And the further you go back, all it is taking those numbers and detailing it. Okay, I'll give you an example. If you open to page 10, and page 10 is your fund balances, which you guys are used to seeing on the financial statement that I give you every month, right? So these are your fund balances, but they're all clumped together in special reserve funds, restricted, assigned, right? So sometimes that's not very readable. So then if you flip to page 78, it starts to take that and break it all down for you. So now you'll see some of those funds, and as you continue in the back, it'll break it all down. So if you went to a restricted fund of 330 or 37, you'll be able to see that breakdown in the back of how they got to that number. What funds does that consist of? So sometimes when you go to simplify it and keep going back, you have a question about a fund. Number one, they come ask me about it, or a question on a figure, but sometimes just flipping to a statement in the back will answer your question for you. That make sense? Okay. So a couple other really great pages, just sort of things that I always look for and you might be looking for. Page 43. That's our over expenditures. So last fiscal year, we overspent by $85,546 on a $14 million budget. That's not too bad.
That's
But-
reasonable.
That's reasonable. So the better part of that, I would say, is on page 68. I'm just gonna make you walk all the way through this.
No, you're not.
No way. Well, these are the basics that, most people would want to know. So on page 68, you're looking at the revenues. So, our budgeted revenue, what we came up with was what we thought we'd raise was in the $13 million range, and we actually raised more. So we gained $256,139. So we overspent by 85, but we gained revenue of 256. So it would be, we ended up in the positive. Just basics there. One more page, page 38. My least favorite, long-term debt. So that's going to, for the next few pages, so 38, I think, through 40 or 41, going to tell you everything we owe. Right, so the sewer bond, any of our water, our lease payments, right down to we're leasing copiers, right? So you can see those contracted debts that we have. So kind of gives you a little idea of some of that outstanding when you go to want to lease something else or purchase something else or go for a bond, what we already have on the books and how long that's gonna go.
And just for clarification, this does not include our $3 million road bond because it hasn't happened yet.
Thank you.
What's the general obligation refunding bond? What is that? Right at the bottom of that page 39, what?
You talking about the 12 million?
Yeah, that's the sewer.
Sewer.
The sewer. So, one other thing in here, you're talking about trying to set your sewer rates and whatever. A good look at your sewer, you've got two things going on in this audit, and if you go back to page, I believe 9. if you look at page 9, your basic overall, you got the governmental activities, which is really everything we've got going on in the town, how much it costs us, what we have for assets, all of that. But then you have the business type activity. And that is the sewer department. They separated it out. Normally, your accounting procedure would say if you have something that should be supporting itself. You know, they're making enough revenue to be paying their own bills, you're in that category. Right? So obviously, we know it's not. But that's, when you see business type activities, that's what you're looking at. You're looking at pursuit department. So even though
Do we have any other things other than that would fall in that category? We don't?
they don't, I kind of question the auditor about, let's say rescue, right? Because we charge for that, but it's not in that same category.
At the 1.463, 823, does that include debt service? It should, right? It goes-
Yeah, everything, it's all, debt service,
And-
everything.
I mean, that was set up, correct me if I'm wrong, a portion of that was supposed to come out of the TIF money anyway, right?
It
That
does.
was kind of how that was.
It does, so if you look at, page 36. Yep, page 36. It's gonna show you how I transferred money from one fund to another.
Okay.
Right, so, and sometimes I transfer the money into the expense account, sometimes I'm transferring. But yeah, so the first part of that note 3 would be your due from. We've been making fun of that for, now I can't say it right. So, it's how much one fund owes the other, right? So all of our main checking account pays for everything and it's in the general fund.
Right.
So we buy something for the sewer, I pay it out of the general fund. So the sewer owes the general fund that money. So in this, you can see that enterprise fund, that's the sewer.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yep, owes the general fund, owes us, so we're keeping an IOU for $736,419.
And is now time to ask why it owes it and we haven't just paid it?
Oh, it's not a matter of what it is that the expense was for the sewer.
Yeah.
So, because it's like having two different businesses.
Yep.
One business does the service for the other, so now the money has to get moved over to the other business to pay for it. Is that a good way to put it?
It is, and this is, right now, when we say, when Adam says, this is what we're working on next, literally, we don't like the way this looks.
Right.
And, I think really to be accurate, we need to move that out of an enterprise fund. Let's face it, it's never going to support itself. I really don't think so. Not in our time,
I agree.
right? And so.
Debbie Downer.
Huh?
Debbie Downer.
I have been working with this since it started, so.
18 more years, that'll be ours.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't wanna go there. So anyway, I think we should wash it, but remember,
Yeah.
if we wash it and we no longer can hold that, you owe us that money. We got a general, our unassigned fund balance is going to go down.
Right.
Right, that's the, so right now, it looks all happy, but that probably should figure into your calculations of, because you should probably take away that, like, IOU and rip it up, because I don't think you're gonna get that money back.
Called robbing Peter and paying Paul.
Right.
That's fund balance accounting for you, and it really is, it's It's just fund balance counting, is how it works. Any other questions? Good. All right.
Thank you.
I'll make you have anything to read it.
Thank you very much, Beth.
So yeah, that's when Phil's gonna be reading it. Town manager.
Okay. We talked about town meeting, we settled on leaving it June sixth at 10 a.m. We settled on that, but there was some discussion about checking with the school versus having it here. So South Campus, which is the school right up near here, has a gym and it's available on that date and time. Is that something we want to consider, or do we want to consider just staying here?
I think we should consider South Campus.
Is the elementary school not available?
Well, we checked on that, we don't have an answer on the other.
Look at that one just because it's closer, so if anything that we need to move from here, we're just moving it right down there.
How's the parking there? Is the parking gonna be sufficient? Parking?
For South Campus?
Yeah, that'll be my only.
He is much as we got here.
Pick up that side and all around the back side.
I mean, I'll park at Ocean State. Yeah, I mean, I'm up for it. I think, hopefully we need a bigger place, right? Isn't that the goal here?
I think that's why we're having this conversation, yeah.
Not against it. I prefer elementary school. I'm not trying to be a pain, so I know. I bet half the residents that show up to the town meeting don't even know where South Campus is. Not saying they won't find it, I'm just saying.
I think there'll be several that maybe don't have, but yeah. I know it's further. 'Cause people forget how much equipment needs to be moved and how many chairs and everything. Well, we use their chairs
We use some of this stuff, yeah.
or,
You really think we're gonna get a crowd, we're gonna fill this place up?
I think you're gonna get enough to fill this place up, for sure.
We're talking sewer ordinances, we got some pretty big ticket. Increasing fees for rec, I think there'll be some interest. I'm optimistic.
How about this? How about this? Because I really want to be able to start telling people where town meeting is, so if you guys are good with this, what I'm gonna do is we'll reach out to the school, and if the elementary school is available, we'll just book it and that's where it's gonna be. If that's not available, we'll shift over to the South Campus.
I'm good with
I
that.
think we have to.
Okay, so by the next time we see each other again, I'm gonna let you guys know, hey, town meeting is at this location, and I can start advertising. You guys good with that? Yep. Okay. I'm not trying to be pushy, I just,
No, it's been settled.
No, no, I can tell.
It's a manpower thing to move everything down there. You may end up having to close part of Friday to get everything down there. And use
Yeah.
whoever moved it out.
we'll figure it out. Okay, moving on to the next, budget committee welcome email has been sent out to all of them. We am still waiting on feedback from everybody, but it looks like we're looking at a 5:30 start time, seems to be the happy medium for most of the folks that have gotten back to me, so I'm excited about that. Comprehensive plan, I've had some further conversations with the young lady from AvCog, and as I told you before, if AvCog is gonna be drafting everything, it does look like there's about a $30,000 cost to pay them over the course of this time to help us. And that $30,000 would include orchestrating meetings, coordinating with the manager and staff here, doing public outreach and public input. Basically, they would kind of be the wranglers of the project. That $30,000 is economic development based. I would turn to our TIFs to pay for that, the Route 26 TIF and the Walmart TIF. I think we all agree we need to do some future planning. I think if we're gonna do it, we shouldn't just do a half job. I think we need to do this so that we can have some good future planning. This is an estimate, it doesn't mean we're gonna have to do all, there may be things along the way, as she said, there may be chapters that maybe one of us is able to write versus having to have them do it, so we might have some cost savings there. But you guys wanted a price before I hit the go button, so, I'd like to move forward with this.
I make a motion to approve, up to $30,000 to, fund a, comprehensive plan
I'll second
Discussion.
to come out of the TIF.
You'll draft up whatever contract, because I'd love for it to be less than that, but
Yes.
we don't want it to be more.
We have money set aside for economic development. Is that part of the TIF?
No.
So this is a good way to use some of the TIF money.
Yes, and I think it's a very appropriate way to use it.
All those in favor?
All right, thank you. And then lastly, as I've kind of hit up you guys individually whenever I catch you in the hallway and so forth, I am gonna be bringing forward a fund balance policy update here shortly. So I was gonna try and bring that to the 19th, the meeting on the 19th, is that a? Four of you will be here, right?
Hopefully. These four.
These four,
We're going.
okay.
I have a wedding in North Carolina. I gotta go to.
It's rough. Do you have a +1?
I do.
You involved?
All right, that's all I have for you guys tonight.
Thank you.
Selectmen items.
I know we talked about this, code enforcement coming. And somebody sent an email in recently about a moratorium on, correct me, was it marijuana? And panhandling. Where are we with that one?
So I had talked to the town attorney a while ago, I think it was Floyd that might brought it to my attention.
I did bring it up.
And so there's some challenges to trying to have a panhandling ordinance because it's a public way, a state public way as well, where most of this stuff is happening. So we as in the town really don't have the authority unless they are getting in the way of traffic to go out there and stop that activity. If it's on private property, like if it's on Hannaford's property, then they can stop that activity. But we weren't really in a place to be able to do a ton of that.
Straight face, he's standing in the middle of the road. Somebody comes along, gawking around at him, don't pay attention, there'll be nothing but a flat spot there. Just my opinion. Red Town doesn't have any responsibility there, but that was my point.
I don't believe the town has any responsibility there.
Okay?
Not on 26, so. It's just, it's on. Is what it is. I think that was it, that was in the email. Was there something else in the email about?
No, that was, I was the one who brought it up originally.
Yeah.
On a moratorium on those.
But there is a moratorium on solar fields, correct?
We don't have a moratorium on solar right now.
And were they,
It's fine. Everything is fine. That was like 2 years ago now. It's only good for so long.
and the solar fall, I think the concern that resident had was, can we use, Hooker's Farm for an example? Could that become a solar field? In other words, is it restricted to certain zoning?
So why don't I do this in reference to the solar? Why don't I ask Shane to brush up on the solar and be able to speak to that? And if we need to do something there, then we can.
Dig out that old ordinance that we have.
Not that I didn't hear anything about Hooker doing that, it's just that's an example.
We had an ordinance a couple of years back because when the town has to give a solar array
Oh,
with tax credit.
so big, after it gets so big, because that one down
And
there
then the
originally.
state
only reimburses you a percentage of what you're giving. So if you give them a credit for $100,000 and the state reimburses you $50,000, that's why we put one in before.
You gotta remember that.
About
So
$60,000.
Get one down here.
bring that back.
Hey, you were against it.
That was.
Matter of fact, there was.
Is it not, they're only good for 10 years and after that, it's all hazardous waste, correct?
That stuff's changing every year. It's
In
getting
my
better
opinion,
and
that was a
better,
great
but
place for it,
possibly.
in a swamp.
But they should pay.
Absolutely.
You put panels up, you pay for them.
If you wanna talk about it, if you have 50 acres and you wanna put a solar farm on it, by all means, you do what you want with your land, but don't expect a tax credit. That's where I have a problem with,
Well, I'm not,
you're gonna get a tax credit and everybody else in town's gonna pay for it.
tax credit aside, I would question whether that should fall under zoning of a commercial space or something like that. That's my concern is,
The people in the gas station said that, is it kilowatt, what was it? It was so much that they
Over so many
produced.
kilowatts.
It was,
Over
yeah.
5 or under.
And if it was above that, it falls into this category, and when we originally, they came to us when they did it and asked for this, we refused them. And they knew they already had it, and we didn't, because we built them the full vote, but we gave them credit back.
Okay.
Okay?
thank you.
Any other slide on this? Sign warrants. Let's start with that.
Yeah, can you start with the casino license so that fine gentleman doesn't have to wait on this anymore?
The governor trying to put him out of business.
It's not funny at all.
He is.
Not fun.
Somebody said that, she's trying to.
If it's ready, I'll wait.
She's trying to pass an ordinance that you gotta register your, lawnmowers. Yeah, right, I don't think so. Ain't happening. Wow. My arborist cannot do a battery operated chainsaw or anything. That's my arborist down to a battery operated chainsaw any day. See which one's gonna slow. Smoke them up.
You'll see it. Look at it, page 2.
Are they still going ahead with the senior citizen thing?
Yes. Down Robinson's?
Yeah.
Yeah, they already got one building smashed, gone. History.
I heard they're looking for things to be built.
So you don't wanna use that land for bus garage.
Yeah, speaking of that though,
2 weeks ago.
Dana, can I just ask something real quick? Are we
Got another one coming for it.
all covered as far as, isn't next week we vote on this whole
24.
bus garage thing?
2 weeks.
2 weeks? Oh, yeah, 2 weeks.
It'll be good.
It'll be right here.
Yep, and absentee ballots are already available.
Just the bus garage, right?
typically the public hearing is next week.
Oh, okay.
Eva?
No, the school post public hearing is in the forum.
Public hearing is Tuesday.
Is it the tenth?
Yeah, Tuesday the tenth is Ashley's birthday, yeah.
Yeah, 10th is Tuesday.
In case you don't know.
What you
It's Ashley's birthday. Bring a gift.
Happy belated birthday to you.
Thank you.
I brought you 30 dollars worth of candy tonight.
Gotta give that away, huh?
You just said, oh, there you go.
My wife is against Halloween.
No, the PJs. No, I've been the last couple of weeks.
Radio another hour?
Kill.
Can I get a motion on the warrants?
Second.
Oh, I thought you already did it.
Sign warrant 82
Sorry,
86. 82 86.
I seconded it. I seconded it.
All in favor?
in favor?
No, I saw you.
I want a motion to go in executive session and discuss personnel matter pursuant to MRSA Title I, Chapter 13, Section 4056.
Second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Have a good night, folks.
Yeah. My boy drove me out.
No, I didn't tell you else.
I'm trying to leave before you do.
Okay.
Well, it takes me a minute.
All right. Take your time.